Hello everyone and welcome back to the back nine coverage of the first round, 2017 Idlewild Open. Big Julie commentary, I'm Jeremy Koling, joined with Paul Ulibarri, and this is where the course is going to really start to show its teeth. Back nine is brutal.
It really is. I mean, it gets tighter. The holes get not necessarily longer, but tighter, and I don't even know how to explain it. It's just very, very, very difficult.
Par becomes birdie almost on this course, on the back nine. And you can see right here starting, it's taken the drone quite a bit of time to navigate through the trees. You can imagine what it's like if you're a disc. This is a very tough uphill 368, probably plays like 420, 430 maybe.
Yeah, and for the viewer, Gregg just laces this, absolutely laces this up the hill.
Yep.
Probably almost as good as he could possibly throw it on that angle.
He's like 50 feet away.
He's 50 feet away. So the route that you throw this disc on, it's almost pushing how far the disc can actually go on this flight. So,
and that's another really nice shot, but just a little bit backdoor, ends up catching a tree. But making the initial gap is such a huge bonus here, I feel like. Just to be able to get up there and get it easy par is a bonus.
Oh, absolutely. If we're hitting this gap, it looks a lot smaller when you're stepping on the tee ready to throw that shot. So once you make that first gap, you're, like you said, you're happy, and anything after that is a bonus.
And I got the Star Thunderbird, the big German Star Thunderbird here, and I just get through that little gap that you missed out on, and really getting a putt on this hole is something that I don't even expect that. That's such a bonus for me to be able to be up there and putt for two. It's
And I really gave this a great run.
Yeah, get in.
It was just I knew that if I popped it, I could hit those guardian trees, and I wanted to try to make it, but then I just rushed it. It was awful.
Yeah, it's funny how it actually looks better on camera than it does in person. In person, that looked like you threw it about 40 feet away. So,
yeah.
And Gregg's got to go sidearm just because of the trees, and look at this. No, it was in and out. Such a great run. I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, he smiled about it. He's a great player to play with.
What a good putt.
That is such a bonus for me, man. I am really tickled to get that one.
Yeah, that's one of the harder twos on the course for sure.
And Paul from about 40 feet away.
It felt like 50 after that upshot.
Yeah,
I was actually happy to make that putt and to actually have a putt on that hole because I missed such a shorty on the hole before. So
right,
it was good to be like, oh yeah, I'm not just an awful putter now. All of a sudden,
right. It was the water's fault that landed on your thumb, not your fault.
I know. I don't have control over raindrops.
Right.
Even though it wasn't raining.
So 1 under on this hole is really impressive. I mean, not just to pat myself on the back, but just getting under par anyone on this hole is a big deal. So good threes actually as well. So well done there. And on to the shortest hole in the course. Many of you are probably familiar with this hole by now because this is the one that Paul McBeth aced in back-to-back rounds. And then Jessica Weiss also aced it in practice. So this has been picked off a few times already.
Yeah, it's almost a guaranteed ace for our whole group.
Yep. And with me on the card, there's a really good chance that you're going to see some metal hit for sure. Or trees. One of the two, metal or trees. Trees.
Well, you kind of got through.
Actually, yeah, I've got to look. I'm about maybe just inside 40 feet away, uphill basket. Pretty safe to run after it, though.
Yeah, for how bad you really did throw the shot.
Thank you.
You have a look. And Gregg throws what you want to throw there. That's a really good shot.
Almost grabbed metal there from the base. Not the basket, but, that still counts, I believe.
And I pull mine, but I get the sneaky little gap there. And
what did you say after you threw this one? I'm so happy that I'm so lucky or something.
Something yeah, I was pretty happy to get the result I got.
All right, so we didn't get any metal this time, but James, really a kick of a lifetime. I mean, he pulled that one pretty bad off to the left. He could have been in a really bad spot trying to save a par in this hole, which has to be the easiest par 3 in the course. And you even called it. You said after that great kick, he's gonna make the putt, and he almost did. And this just never really had a chance. But I didn't really deserve the birdie after the bad tee shot, so I wasn't gonna be too down on myself there.
And Gregg just finishing up there.
Yeah.
After a nice tee shot.
If you get too far up that hill, that can be a death putt. I mean, that you can see that green slopes away there, and that's not fun.
No, I just didn't have the concentration I needed to on that, and I had an awkward stance, and with my new putt, I don't know, guys.
Yeah,
just give me a break.
You don't have to explain yourself, man. It happens. It happens to the best of us.
I made that one, though.
You did. That was dead center. If there were no... Oh,
oh, and that's right.
I can't imagine what you're looking at back there, Paul.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll do better today. But yeah, Gregg gets the lone 2 on the easiest par 3 in the course, so we could have done better. But we live and we learn. Maybe we'll do better tomorrow. Hole 12 is a really difficult par 4. I mean, I don't know if besides hole 1 and 4, if there's any par 4 in this course that I wouldn't label as very difficult. There's really not a point on this course, on any of these par 4s, where you can throw a good drive and feel like you've already made the hole, like you've already birdied it. It takes 2 quality shots in every single one of these par 4s to even get a look. And
Gregg throws that perfectly.
Yeah.
He actually threw a putter, which I was kind of surprised with.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I'm actually going with a Glow Firebird here and just get inside the trees there, and I throw it right down the middle, but just scoot down the hill enough where it's going to be pretty tricky to throw an approach from there.
But you really threw it exactly how you wanted. I mean, you're
Mm-hmm.
pushing that left side, which is what you have to do to get that wide gap, which is exactly what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put a little too much juice on it.
Yep. And
Caught
that's
some foolage, and now I'm in jail.
Yeah. It's kind of tricky that you could be in such a bad spot now with a really nice looking tee shot, but I mean that's just the way this course plays. And James just sneaking around those trees there. Beautiful JK AVR shot from him. He's so good with that disc.
Yeah, that's such a hard shot that he just threw, and he made it look pretty much effortless.
And Gregg, man, that was looking so good. But just unfortunately caught the very bottom of those branches there. He's going to have a pitch up and down for his par. Didn't quite get far enough where you're going to really want to run that putt.
James puts this on a really good angle, but even out of his hand, I asked him, I'm like, do you think that went too far? Because I thought he did, but I wasn't quite sure.
It's
and
so
he
tough.
definitely did.
It's so tough. It's just blind. You can't see what you're throwing at here, and it's down on a back slope behind a blind wall of trees, so it's such a touchy shot here. And really the only shot that I had from where I was standing was a flick roller, and out of my hand, this just couldn't have looked better.
Well, you couldn't have thrown it really any better. That was perfect.
And just happened to catch the last tree there inside the circle, but I'm going to be in a really bad stance. And that was that's getting creative. I mean, that's having that utility disc in your bag that allows you to throw almost with hyzer and still get the disc to do flick roller, which is so difficult to do. But yeah, really nice shot there to get. And you're just inside the circle, or
just inside the circle?
Just inside the circle. And Gregg actually proves me wrong, does actually go for it, and he's really good at those long distance putts. He has a nice nose down, so even if he does run a putt like that, typically it's sitting down pretty close to the basket.
And James really just didn't have much there. And I'm actually taking my lie. I was just inside the circle, but I take my lie just outside the circle so that I can do my jump putt, because it was a low ceiling with that branch kind of blocking me, and it didn't change anything.
Yeah, it didn't really change anything. And I was pretty disappointed there. I really wanted that birdie here is, God, I mean, every birdie in the back nine feels like an eagle almost. So to be able to put yourself 2 really quality shots and then not convert on the putt's really frustrating.
And Gregg, even after running that downhill putt, you know, he makes good with his 30-footer right there. And that's impressive. If you can make those comeback putts from 30, 35 feet every time, like he's showing today, then it allows you to get aggressive outside the circle. So
right.
You can tell that he's kind of on point with his putt by how aggressive he's being.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing terrific lately. It's no mistake it's no surprise that he almost won the European Open and then won the Coup Open the next week in Finland, and he's just been playing great golf. Probably picking up one of the best aces ever at Ledgestone on that baseball field hole. So he's been playing great golf, and it's always nice to see people being aggressive and attacking long putts, but knowing they're going to make those comebackers.
Yeah, four fours there, and me and you were probably a little disappointed that we couldn't convert on our second shots or third shots there, but that's not really a bad score 4 on that one.
We're coming up to maybe the hardest par 3 in the history of mankind. 472 double mando through the Y gap, and then you have to go way left, and then there's this OB winding creek that goes throughout the hole. And then you have a small, tiny island green. Actually, behind the island is safe, but this hole is this is a beast.
And there's something that you also can't see on the camera is that tee pad is sloping down, and it's pretty slippery too. So this is just an uncomfortable tee shot.
And Gregg gets a break of a lifetime. Just happens to catch that peninsula, and he stayed safe. And I'm throwing him a little Star Thunderbird here, and that's exactly what you want there, is just make the mando, have something. You don't need to throw something super fast, but just get around the corner and give yourself hopefully a long jump putt.
Yeah, and stepping up to this tee pad, I just did not feel comfortable. Like I said, it was a little bit, but I catch a really good break. Yeah,
just happened to kick right through the double mando, so... my argument was this is just such a nice shot, but he actually goes a little bit too far, and he is out of position because there is rough long, as you can see from there. And
yeah, that's what he gets for throwing T-birds 9,000 feet or whatever.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. But you really have no chance at saving your par from where you are there. So
speak for yourself.
Okay, all right. Well, most people wouldn't have a chance to save par from there, but... Yeah. Gregg's got that little backdoor route that he was afforded because of the lucky break that he had to stay on the peninsula. But he's...
smart play laying up and not getting aggressive. He actually did have a line all the way to the island. So.
Yeah, and he's about 60 feet away for his par. And almost makes that shot there. I mean, that would have been pretty special there.
Right, speak for yourself.
Oh, but did you make it?
In my mind.
Okay. So, James has to lay up, unfortunately, because he's out of position. But he's got just outside circle's edge for his par, so not what he's looking for after the tee shot that he executed, but that's just the way this course is. I mean, for a perfect tee shot, to have that long of a jump putt for a birdie, it kind of tells me this is maybe not a par 3.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a par 4, and... A difficult par 4 too.
Yeah.
This is not an easy hole by any means. I mean, this is James after a good tee shot for par.
Yep.
And and I'm tapping in for a 4 and a really good 4 because I shanked my tee shot. I didn't throw the best second shot, and my third shot was good, but it feels more of like a par to me than a bogey.
I feel like we're laughing right now because somebody clapped right after James misses the putt. And we're like, all right, this guy was either not paying attention or he's just not the coolest person in the world, one of the two. Or maybe he just likes seeing people not do well, but either way. 4 different ways of playing the hole, and I got 3 technical bogeys, but 1 par, not bad.
lifetime warranty, and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
Hole 14, par 4, and golly, this is a tight gap off the tee. You really just want to throw forehand if you're a right-handed player. That just, you don't want something to go super hard right. You just need to make the gap and just let the disc gradually fade off to the right. And then from there, it just continues to stay tough with all the trees that are in the way. And this was just, so I thought I had it. I thought I was going to beat that tree. But man, what an incredibly fortunate bounce that took. I ended up making it all the way to the fairway just in a very strange way.
You know, this is almost the exact replica of the last hole, just switched around, I feel like.
And Barsby, that couldn't have been much more down the center.
That was so good.
So good there. Anytime that you can get down to the flats where you're level with the basket, you threw a bomb tee shot. This is your D1, I believe, and just a bit too tight and inside. Bad kick too.
I was happy with my shot too. I thought that I could sneak past those trees. I didn't, but I was still happy with beating those initial trees.
And this is just a slightly inside, but what a lovely turnover there. I mean, that looks like a sidearm. Like he's throwing the disc and it's looking like a right-handed player's throwing a sidearm.
I didn't think somebody could throw a shot like that on that hole.
Yeah.
With how the gravity's kind of pulling it and everything. And
Yeah.
at this point, I'm trying to just get down there
And get your par.
and get a par.
Yep. There's no way for you to get to the basket from where you were. So, nice shot to get there. And I'm fortunate to get where I am, but I still have a pretty tricky shot here, you see, with all these trees. So I wanted to throw just a little flip up with the MD2, and that was exactly what I had drawn up in my mind.
Yeah, you make it look really easy, but you still have to hit that gap, and it's easy to go early or pull it or get a kick, and, you know, this is still on an island.
And that was actually my flippiest mid-range. That was my most beat-up mid-range I have in my bag. I feel like the mistake might have been to throw something overstable there. So.
And here's James really playing position golf. Like, he's not trying to get tricky. I was really impressed with that upshot of just playing it to the left side of the green and making sure that he had a look and not trying to park the hole.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, I was really impressed with that too, because he knew that he could throw it hard. There was a backstop behind the green, and he felt comfortable hitting that gap with speed, and he hit the backstop, and it wasn't right by the basket, but he knew that he could make the putt from where he was. So, really smart play.
Do you think Gregg lost his disc in there? It disappeared.
I don't remember looking for it, so I think he found it.
Oh, all right.
And a great 3 there from James. Putter. That's a crazy way to play that hole, but I mean, for him, that's his game, and he executed that hole perfectly. Can't draw it up much better. And Gregg didn't lose a disc, but he has lost his right leg.
That's a really good 3.
Oh, there it is. He found it.
And those are some good 3s by my card mates, and I'm left with this little 20-footer for par. And
you avoid all the raindrops and everything, so make that one. And then, I mean, that's a good par. I mean, like I said, par almost feels like just about a birdie on this back 9 in so many of these holes.
And at this point, I feel like I'm really working for my pars. Like, it's not coming easy, and I've kind of, the course has me doing exactly what it wants me to do. It has me on edge at this point, not feeling comfortable. And that's just the type of course this is. If you're not on point, this course will lull you into scrambling and just feeling uncomfortable. And
we have imagine that, we've got a tight tee shot here, uphill, and very important for position on the second shot. And I really like that tee shot. until I got up there and realized that you really want to be on the left side to give yourself the best angle.
But it's really hard to get to the left side.
Yeah.
Like, even though Gregg threw that shot, he kind of got a bad kick, and he's too far left, almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you have to be within, there's so many courses we play where the landing zone is maybe 40 to 50 feet wide at the narrowest. This place, maybe the prime landing zone is no wider than 10 feet. And you were going for that. I liked the way you stepped up to that hole. I thought that you were about to throw a great shot. Like you looked like you were poised to throw a great shot. You just kind of pulled it a little bit early there.
And then
or a little bit late.
And then I threw that one.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I was just out of position. I had a really low ceiling. I was trying to make something happen, and I got denied. But that's that's the name of this hole right here. You get off left or right, and it's going to punish you.
Mm-hmm.
And even James right there, he's going pretty aggressive, but now he's right, and the course has him doing exactly what it wants.
Yeah, he's out of position as well, and that you just have to kind of take your medicine there, lay up there, and realize that the best you can really do is a bogey at this point.
Yeah, and that's tough to do as a player to accept.
And look at this. I mean, that's the third time we've seen Gregg throw from a very, very tricky stance. He just gets those pop of those fairway drivers. He's so accurate with the eagles and the firebirds, and
yeah, that's just a great tap-in birdie that he has there.
I really wanted to force a sidearm here, but I just couldn't. I'd have to throw off my right leg, and there's no way to get power up from that. I end up having to do the standstill back to the target patent pending shot, and I end up kicking into a really, really bad spot in the woods. But this is a really nice approach there, Paul. I thought at first that you might have had too much angle on it, but it came in a nice soft Anheuser, and you ended up within 15 feet.
And you got actually a pretty bad kick. You're in a little cave almost.
Yeah.
You didn't have much.
And then I didn't get much more from that. The flick roller ends up hitting a pile of woods that you couldn't really see from where I was, and now I threw a great drive, and now I'm looking at probably getting a bogey here because I'm about 100 feet away or so.
Well, look at that. Look what you found. And this, this is just probably, I'm guessing, about as far as you could possibly putt.
Yeah, maybe I can get another 10, 15 feet if I really push into it, but that was, I hit a similar putt in distance in Estonia a couple weeks ago, and I really was thinking about that moment and what was going through my head at that time, and just really felt good about that. And I was kind of scrambling there. You're talking about getting out of your comfort zone, and at that point I was a little bit out of my comfort zone because I threw what I thought was a great tee shot, and now I'm scrambling and probably about to get a bogey. So that putt was huge for me to kind of settle back down. And yeah. Gregg with just an awesome. I didn't feel like this hole would play so hard after my one practice round, but this hole is very, very difficult. I mean, they really all are. So.
Yeah, and I come off the hole actually happy with a bogey after the kick that I got, and so that's, like I said, that's what the course does to you. It kind of keeps you on edge, and I'm scrambling the whole time, it seems like, on this back nine. And
this is a hole, it's just like all the other holes in the course, 900-foot par 5 in the Open, so it's pretty similar to the rest of the Idlewild. No, this is really, it's just such a interesting mix that you have here because you come from such a different style of golf, and then all of a sudden you have this big bomber hole with OB right and left, and we've got a bunch of wind. And this shot right here is really, really nice, and almost fades too much out of bounds, but the grass is nice and high there and ends up staying in bounds. And
yeah, I love this addition to the course after being so tight, and now you get out into the Open and you have to throw an extremely tough power shot, and so it really just tests all the skills.
Right. And I wanted to trust the Thunderbird out a little bit wider. I ended up trying to go straight shot and didn't quite turn the disc over enough. So I'm going to be OB, but got pretty decent distance off the tee shot, so I should be able to get a nice second shot off. And
yeah, and it's pretty windy while we're all on the tee pad too, you can see the flag to the right there kind of blowing from right to left, and James just gets it a little too high, it looks like, and just, you know, almost does the same thing as yours and fades a little too far left.
He's only OB by about a foot, but that doesn't matter if you're 1 foot or 100 feet out of bounds. Same result. Going to be throwing 3 from there.
Yeah, and I saw him do that, so I thought his line was good until it did go OB, and so I just put mine a little lower and trusted his line. And
it's so difficult to trust your shot as wide as you need to throw it. I mean, you ended up right in the middle of the fairway, but you were out over OB for 99% of that flight there, and so hard to trust it out there because you don't want to lose all the distance. And so I trying to keep it a little bit wider this time, and that is such a bad break. I'm going to lose about 300 feet of distance on this shot because I hit the tops of that the rough there, never came back in bounds. So,
yeah, and it looked like you kind of caught a bad break with the wind dropping yours. You see Gregg's is holding his height, and yours just dropped probably 40 feet out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a bad break there. Playing really good round so far. Coming into the final 3 holes, the name of the game is just par, par, par if you can. And the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position where you're still 450 feet away and you're throwing your par shot.
And James just absolutely rips this.
Yeah, he unleashes.
And he gets as far down there. That's a perfect shot.
Yeah,
that's an absolute perfect shot from him.
He had to have thrown the disc. Must have been 550 feet plus there.
And I'm throwing this shot. I got a good read off of your guys' shots, and I wasn't going for the green. I just wanted to put this one in bounds, especially after all the bogeys that I've had on the back nine. So.
Yeah, and that's nicely done there. And you can see there's a little creek OB here as well. So I'm looking at that, and I'm trying to actually save my bogey 6 here, and didn't quite throw it the way I wanted to. Probably got fortunate to hit that tree, otherwise I may have been in the creek. So I've got about a 40-footer for my bogey, and that just didn't really have a chance, but that is going to be a fairly short putt for birdie, so Gregg's probably not too disappointed with that.
Right.
And neither are you, even though you got a little bit of excitement there rolling towards those cinder blocks, but
you know, out of my hand, I really thought I made that putt, and I missed it by a few inches, but
yeah, that'd been a pretty incredible eagle. And did not give that one a chance there, so I'm gonna have to settle for a double bogey at worst, which is kind of a bummer. And this is for the rare OB birdie from James Conrad.
Yeah, I had forgot that he actually went OB.
Wow.
And so I told him nice 3, and he gave me a funny look. And I was like, all right, I won't say anything nice to you again. And then I realized that he went OB and he got a 4.
But he just showed how eagleable this hole is. I mean, it can definitely be 3'd. And, you know, that's a little pep in the step from Gregg there. A good little birdie putt there. And I was actually thinking, man, this would be a really bad time to get a triple bogey. So I was really happy that putt actually stayed in. And you're trying to decipher whether the OB line is the inside of the bricks or the outside. And
so I did happy medium and didn't tell anybody.
Yep.
But I'm happy with a 4 there, birdie. Me and Gregg, I think, Gregg and James.
Yep.
Get the birdie, and you had the unfortunate 7.
Yeah, that's the same number that the 3 of you guys had combined, pretty much. So that sucked. But this is one of the most unique holes I think I've ever played. It's 418 feet, and you have this creek running all the way down. I mean, it even makes an island around the green. The creek is OB, and if you haven't seen, there are some trees in the way. So this one is just like, I don't even know how to play it.
Yeah, I don't even know what the course designer was thinking. He goes, okay, I'm going to make this pretty big gap right here that shapes right to the basket, but I'm going to make the fairway the creek.
Yep.
And so I don't...
It's tough.
It's just a tough... It's probably a par 4 also because of the OB.
Sure.
And And there's just no safe spot to play it.
Mm-hmm.
There really isn't. There's not a game plan where you can be like, okay, I'm gonna throw it here and then have an easy upshot. It's just.
I think the best way to attack it is be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and just take what you can get. When you play safe, and I mean, look at this. This is just, if this is not perfect, I don't know what perfect is. And that just, God, what an unfortunate break. I mean, you are inside 20 feet or so, 25 feet where that disc landed in the creek, and you're OB.
Yeah, I can't even think of anybody throwing it better than I just threw it. Because
that was perfect.
Because it was the best shot that I threw the whole round.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it honestly is probably one of the most beautiful holes I've ever played. I mean, I always love throwing in the woods with grassy fairways and the little knolls and the creeks and all that. It's just beautiful. But it's just, I don't know how to play it for score. You just kind of have to take what you can get.
And even though, and here's Gregg, he just, it just puts you in an awkward position no matter where you are. And so
What do you do?
Now he has this left to save bogey.
Yeah, and actually throws a really, really nice shot. Fantastic touch. And, but yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else you can do. And bogey's not even a bad score in this hole, really. And my thought process here was just stay away from the creek, which I did not realize I hit that tree. Wow. Okay. Incredibly fortunate break for me there. It's fun to watch these videos sometimes because you can see what actually happens. But yeah, I thought I threw a pretty good shot, but apparently I didn't. But I got a good break. And James kind of soft run. I don't really know if he was trying to run that or not, or maybe just kind of floated in there, but he's going to have to settle for bogey at best.
Yeah, and here's me trying to save par.
And that was a heart putt. Great putt there for par, but kind of a tough one to take after that tee shot. I mean, like I said, you can't really even conceive a better looking tee shot.
I was happy, though. I mean, my game plan is to get down there, around the basket, whether it's OB or not, and then have some sort of putt for par. So, mission accomplished. You save a great par as well.
Yep.
And par almost feels like birdie on this one.
Yeah, I mean, my game plan is the same as yours. Just really go for the green, throw it as far as you can, and just if you happen to be in bounds, great. And if not, then hopefully you can get up and down and save your bogey at worst. And James taps in his bogey putt, so no double bogeys in this hole, fortunately. But really, crazy hole. That's what else can you say about hole 17?
Yep, and our scores are all pretty similar, 3-3, 2-1 at this point. You had the unfortunate hole on the previous hole.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're under par in this, and on this course, if you're under par, you're doing something right.
On to hole 18 now, final hole. We've got a very narrow, tough par 4 where you have to keep your tee shots somehow in this 8-foot wide fairway for about 400 feet, and then you have about 200 feet of open airspace. But
and a slippery tee pad to boot.
Yeah, very slippery tee pad. I mean, that rain really played. Once it stopped raining, it didn't really rain much after that one rain delay we had, but the tee pads never really dried up.
And if you don't get off the tee, if you don't get past those trees that I just didn't get past, it's a guaranteed bogey almost at best. And you throw a shot there. And,
yeah.
Gregg's about to throw his shot here.
Yep. Throw it down the middle here, and these little limbs and stuff like that stick out in the fairway, make this hole just so difficult.
And Gregg misses his shot by 4 or 5 inches. That thing was turning, and that was going to be an incredible tee shot.
And here is a guy who does not miss his tee shot.
No, he throws this right down the pipe, and he actually kind of catches a really bad break.
Incredibly bad break. I mean, from where we were standing, we didn't see that it hit that bush. It looked like he was going to be way down there right in the middle, and
that's me just trying to get into position, and I snug up against another tree, and this whole this course has got me doing what it wants again. It's got me uncomfortable,
racing around.
Yep, going left, right, just trying to somehow salvage and get back to the fairway, and it's tough to do.
And Gregg does a really nice advancement tee shot or second shot there. But yeah, there's nothing worse than playing safe and then still being out of position. You know, I mean, that's just like, why not just go for the big shot? But you did what you have to do. You know, if you try to get too aggressive on this course, it's gonna bite you.
And I know a lot of people would be like, well, why didn't I throw a backhand right there or something? The hole is tight. It's just, look at you. Oh, man.
That's a really bad break. That was going to be way off to the left. It's going to be really nice. And that tree just pushed it down the hill. And now I'm in a really tricky spot there. And speaking of tricky spots, I mean, James' tee shot, that is the tough thing to do. But again, not trying to go for too much, so he's not going to put himself in trouble. He's put himself right in the middle of the fairway and hopefully be able to get up and down. But he has got a long way to go before he can do that. And he has thrown an excellent third shot, set himself up for a nice little par look to finish up the round.
Yeah, and this hole is borderline par 5 also.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what happened there?
Well, I have a very tricky stance.
Okay, so I know what happened. You were off the fairway, tricky stance, pulled it into some branches, and now you had pretty much the same shot again.
I call this a made-up forehand. I had to make something up because my stance was so weird.
And then, that's an incredible shot from where you were for the 2 shots that you had just thrown. To be able to get it, into the circle and give yourself a chance to save the best score you could have saved from there.
Was a 6. Yeah.
Which is good. And we don't like double bogeys, but
they're better than triple bogeys.
They're just a little bit better than... I actually catch a really good break, and I have a wide open out.
Yeah, you
from being into a tent.
Yeah, you said you walked up to your lie. You're like, "Oh, I'm in a tent." That's a zipped up tent. But yeah, that was a nice little break there, and Barsby's got a little run at it. He's gonna have to settle for a bogey as well. And I don't feel really good right now, but just feel good enough to get that in, and I'm just happy that I can get off the course with going 4 over in the last 3 holes, and that's a tough break because I was playing a really good round and ended up coming in with the double bogey there. So, but James hits his eagle par putt. I feel like this is a par 8 right now, but he's nodding his head. I love James's attitude. He's just such a genuinely nice person and so much fun to play with, and I can't reiterate how much fun it was playing this round with these guys.
Yeah, it makes, we all had our struggles, but, the people that we played with made it a lot easier than other people could have. And, yeah, it was an extremely good round. We saw some great shots, some bad shots. We saw some great reactions, some good SloMez. So,
yeah, maybe a record for SloMez in one video. And so Gregg and James ended up at 2 under par. I finished at 1 under, and Paul, you were even?
I was even. I just missed the scoreboard.
And Andrew and Nate Perkins coming in at 5 under par. Very impressive. Andrew Presnell does not throw forehands, and the fact that he is in the lead after round 1 is really impressive. Nate Perkins does throw forehands, so it's not surprising to see him up there, but still a great round on his great play from him. And thanks for watching the first round of the 2017 Idlewild Open. Be sure to check in tomorrow for second round action. Thanks as always for tuning in to Jomez. See you tomorrow.